All right, we're ready to bring up our next. This man, I love this guy. He's a breath of fresh air. He is energetic, too. And this man was given the task of starting up the Tea Party here in Dallas from scratch. So please give a huge round of applause to Mr. Phil Dennis, ladies and gentlemen.
Let freedom ring. Let the white dove sing. Let the whole world know that today is the day.
Woo! I feel like Ric Flair, the wrestler. Woo! Thank y'all so much for coming out on our big day. Who would have thunk last year when a bunch of ragtag, about 300 of us showed up out there down at Victory Plaza, that we would be standing here today, organized the way we are, and with all you great, wonderful people in our organization. Hey, listen, before I get started, I wanted to thank a couple of people. Everybody that's on our events team, raise your hand and say, woo! These people put this all together for us today. Even this tee box I'm standing on. I wish they could have made it a little bit lower for my big fat butt to get up here, but other than that, it's good. I also want to thank Blue Shield Security, who is kind of helping us out with security. I'm a very important person. I have big enemies. So if you come near me, watch out. I might Hong Kong on you myself. All right, how many people saw the video where we invited Keith Olbermann? You think we won? I know we did. I want to thank the beautiful and talented Katrina Pearson, who we heard from. She's wonderful. I also want to thank the lovely and beautiful Ken Emanuelson. Uh-oh. Eddie, please, call Blue Shield. I want to thank Bert Mueller, who did our editing and filming. Wasn't that great? And I want to thank my wife, who did the Spanish-speaking tasks. And also, I was on the video. I thought I was the best, but nobody really says anything. And that's how it goes when you're the fat guy. All right. Since day one, since last February 27th, we started this movement with one goal and purpose, and that is to put people in the primary voting booth. Because that is where we can make the greatest change. If you don't like voting for John McCain for president, then get into the voting booth before Tuesday, right? Excellent. For the past 12 months, let me talk about our antagonists in the media. We've been criticized. I wrote down just a few names we've been called, and I thought Zoe did a great job of talking about this, but we've been called racists, Nazis, rednecks, which might apply in some of our cases. That one's really not so bad. If you've ever seen my family. We've been called right-wing extremists, and my favorite of all time is from our Senate leader, Harry Reid, called us evil mongers. I don't even think that's a real term. But I guess it's better to have Harry Reid making up words than it is passing legislation. All right. Let me get where I'm going here. What's next? All right, we have taken the Dallas Tea Party, and we have, with the help of great people, we have subdivided the city and the Metroplex into zip codes where not every one of our neighbors who may agree with us politically is going to come down and hold a sign and yell and chant. And we really don't care if they do or not. We'd like to see them, but it's not the end of the day. But what we do want them to do is get into the voting booth and vote. Through our neighborhood coordinator plan that Lori Medina, Katrina, and Ken have overseen, we have been able to take the Tea Party message of fiscal responsibility into the neighborhoods to get out the votes. And looking at the results coming back in right now, we've been very successful at doing that. So thank you to all of you neighborhood coordinators. I see mine down here. Lisa, where are you? There she is. There's my neighborhood coordinator. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'm sorry I hadn't shown up to the last 2 meetings. I was unavoidably detained. Here's the message we're going to send to Washington, D.C. Any big spending politician, whether they be Republican, Democrat, or Independent, is that if you vote for big spending from this day on, we are going to send you home. If you don't believe me, roll the dice. We are going to send them home. The reason we're here is because for generations we've seen our government acting irresponsibly by spending our money, and now they're spending our children and our grandchildren's money. And I don't even have grandchildren, I hope. But, I do have a kid in college. But we have seen our government now out of control, where our leaders thumb their nose at the taxpayer. This last fiscal year, we spent $100,000 on alcohol for Nancy Pelosi's jet. Maybe that explains some of the things she does in Washington. Well, I would like to, I'm going to be short today, but on this day, it is a wonderful day. The movement is growing. We are organizing. We are getting people involved that have never been involved in the Tea Party process. Of course, we're not racist. We invite everyone of every color, religion, creed. We even invite Yankees. In fact, Adrian, with our 912 Fort Worth group, he's a Yankee, and if you got to have a Yankee, he's about as good as you can hope for. All right, I would like to end. My favorite writer of all time is Ayn Rand. Any Atlas Shrugged fans here? Well, don't worry, I'm not going to read Atlas Shrugged, but I found a quote that she said, and it goes this: "The uncontested absurdities of today are the accepted slogans of tomorrow. They come to be accepted by degrees, by precedent, by implication, by erosion, by default, by dint of constant pressure on one side and the constant retreat on the other, until the day when they are suddenly declared to be the country's official ideology. For too long, we have set back the fiscally responsible taxpayer in America and let the other side dictate the terms of who we are and what we're going to do with our government. And what we are saying is enough is enough." Now, why are we so persecuted in the media? There's one reason. They know we're not racists. There's one reason, is they know that we're serious about what we're doing. We're America-loving people. We are conservative, and they fear the Tea Party. As they should, just like any big-spending politician. So in closing, I will say, and I would like to paraphrase the great patriot of England, who, by the way, is having their first Tea Party today in England. It's kind of like an inverted Tea Party, I guess, is they're probably not throwing it into the harbor, they're probably drinking it, but who cares? They're on the streets. But to paraphrase Winston Churchill, I will say to our adversaries, we will fight you on the beaches. We will fight you in the fields and streets. We will fight you in the hills. And yes, Keith Olbermann, we will fight you on YouTube. And we will never surrender. Fear the Tea Party! Thank you for coming, everyone.
Well, Phil Dennis, everybody, one more time.
Love
Nice.
is a burning thing.
Man, doesn't it feel good to know that, I mean, you know, we still have to fight. Obamacare is pretty much done. How does that feel? They're going to try and push something through, folks, but I find so funny. I was raised in Canada. Thank you. They're like, oh, he must be special. Or as Rahm Emanuel would say, retarded. Right, folks? Yeah. People always, find it so funny. They praise the Canadian healthcare system. Liberals. They're like, you know what I just don't understand is here in America, I don't understand why I have to pay so much money for my drugs. Because it's not like drugs cost money to make. No, they come from a magical land of midgets on tricycles and chocolate rivers, folks. A land where Nancy Pelosi and Al Gore spin recycled trash into golden yarn and insulin shots. That's what happens. Here's the way I look at it. If Richard Simmons can make tens of millions of dollars from Dance Your Pants Off Volume 4, the guy who gave us the polio vaccine deserves a few bucks.